I'm going live now.
Yeah, this should be
Good solve.
Yeah, this should be fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Tonic, just FYI, I've been moving
Reset.
the people in,
I
so
assume we're just
just
going
make
to
sure
be
you
moved into the
do
live
that.
room manually.
All right, cool.
I've also been helping people set up their streams, so I just tune out of the live room occasionally. So, you know, if people need help, feel free.
Yeah, awesome.
Or also, if you're too busy or whatever, just ping me, and if I'm around, I'll help them out.
All right, should be all right. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll take a quick break, but I'll be around too to help with
We already
anything.
did
So,
All right, sounds good.
are we good setup wise there, Cass?
Yeah, the stream should be up by now.
Yep, I see it, and it looks
I
good.
feel when people are asking about the category when it's on
Alright, I'm
screen.
gonna mute.
All right.
I hope they can hear you right now.
I hope so.
Hey guys, how you doing? All right.
Yo, what's up?
Yo,
How's it going?
Good, good. You all ready? We're about to.
Yeah.
I can move you in, and we'll get started.
Yeah,
I'm
all
ready to
set.
go, yeah.
All right. All right. Hello, everyone. I think we are live. We are going to bring in our next runners. So just bear with us a second.
Actually, yeah, don't worry about being super organized. I guess.
Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
How you guys doing?
Hey,
All
guys.
right. How's JRTA treating you so far? How you guys doing? All right. How's JRTA treating you so far?
Not bad. It's been pretty good. The little I've been able to watch has been pretty good. I was at work for most of the day, but now I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I think we're about ready to get started. Cass, you all set up? It's busy. Oh. Just give us a second here, guys.
Feels safer, man.
All right, I think we're all set to go. Yeah. So, if you guys want, I can give you a countdown, and then you can just give us the go ahead, and we'll get going. All right.
Okay. All right, I am ready to go whenever. Whatever.
All right, let's do it. All
Okay.
right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Take it away, guys.
All right, awesome. What's up, guys? I'm TGH, and these are my commentators, J Link Master and Draco Dan. Guys, introduce yourselves.
I am JD Linkmaster. I also speedrun Undertale, and I will be commentating this run.
Yeah, I'm Dracodan. I also speedrun this game, primarily genocide category, but I know a lot about this category as well.
Absolutely. All right, so what's up, guys? And I'm TGH. Thanks for joining. All right, so this is Undertale True Pacifist Ending, meaning we have to get a neutral ending first if you know anything about Undertale. Basically, True Pacifist is like, it's not exactly a hidden ending, like the game hints at it throughout, but it's the true ending, you could call it. Like the it's the final ending when you've completed everything without killing anything. That's the main thing. You can't kill anything in this category. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, this is a little bit of background, or like a little bit of exposition surrounding the run. A lot of you might be wondering, like, okay, so this is Undertale. It It's a pretty short like RPG type category. Like, how could this possibly be effectively speedrun? Well, actually, this is about as far from an RPG speedrun as you're ever going to see an RPG actually be. Once we get to Waterfall, this run really picks up and becomes sort of a glitch fest, honestly. Using a certain item.
Definitely.
Yeah, using a certain item, which I will get to once we get there, once we get the item.
Yeah,
For now, though,
approximately the first 20 minutes or so of the run is about what you'd expect to see from this game, but then if you've never seen runs of this game, you are going to be surprised.
Definitely. For now, though, we're just kind of beelining towards the end of the ruins, and we're gonna hope for good RNG in the ruins, because we can either, there are a lot of rooms in the ruins where we can either get encounters or not, depending on a random step count value you get upon entering them. This is one of the rooms. This is about a 50-50 chance of not getting an encounter. And wow, that's rare.
Wow, that was like frame perfect.
So yeah, that's what happens when your step count is just perfect enough to get it right on the same frame as you exit the room. Okay, so that's slightly bad RNG. Also, the type of encounters can slightly influence time in the ruins. So right there, I got a Frogget. Avoid the holes here that you can't see. So right there, I got a Frogget. If I get a Whimsin instead, you can either get a Frogget or Whimsin in those first couple of rooms. And I don't think I actually... Oh, never mind. There we go. Sorry, thought I screwed up there, but I didn't. So Froggets you have to run from, and it takes a little bit of time, but Whimsins you can instantly spare. And it saves a little bit of time, like a fraction of a second, or fraction of time, like a second and a half about. So this is Naps the book. He's trying to cry all over me because he's pretty sad. We're just gonna cheer him 4 times and move on. I actually need to be careful to cheer him right here, or else I lose about 2 minutes. There we go. Okay. So I'll slow menu for marathon safety. Might notice that the first part of this game is pretty mash heavy. The mashing is actually slightly more technical than you might think upon first looking at it. So the buttons Shift and X on the keyboard skip the text, whereas Enter and Z advance the text. So you want to press the buttons in an order to maximize your efficiency of mashing. So basically, like, you have X. You have, like, I mash in the order X, Z, Shift, Enter. A lot of people do it the other way around. It's just as good the other way around. It's whatever, honestly. But it definitely helps with mashing. Alright,
So in a second here, TGH is going to be grabbing the butterscotch pie, and in the neutral run, it would actually be slower to grab it because in a pacifist run, you can actually later boss fight and once during the final boss fight. In neutral, you only use it once.
That's no big deal.
I'm sorry about that. I seem to be having bad in a little bit.
That was
That's
a
fine.
very
That's
good
okay.
Toriel tech smash there.
Thank you for reminding me to get the pie, JD, by the way. I appreciate that.
I'm
Yeah,
here for you, man.
So coming up right here, we're going to have the first boss fight of the run. There are a couple of boss fights of the run, though this is a very simple affair, Toriel, where you simply win the fight by doing nothing but sparing. And this is one of the more extreme examples of RNG in the run, because what we want to see is the hands attack, which is a 1 in 3 chance every turn. We want to see that attack because if you run into the hands, you can actually end Toriel's attack animation early, a maximum of 6 times, and it saves, is it like 8 seconds each time you save a turn like that?
There we go. Here's a good example of that right
Ooh,
here.
here we go. 4.
4 in a row.
4 in a row is
That's pretty rare.
That's a nice run, yeah. Okay, and now, okay, even if you didn't get hands that turn, it doesn't matter what attack you get on 3 HP remaining, because at 3 HP remaining, any attack you run into will end the animation early. So that was actually perfect RNG, really.
And now here she's actually purposely trying to avoid me, so like she will never hit me as hard as I try to get hit by these things.
It is quote-unquote possible to die on Toriel, but you actually kind of need to set up a situation where it will happen, because there are a lot of situations in this fight where you just cannot die.
And that's the ruins, so that was a very optimal Toriel fight. Yeah, exactly. The maximum you get is 6 hands, or 5 hands and a cancel, like Draco mentioned with the HP thing. So yeah, that was a very good Toriel. So an average ruins and a great Toriel. I don't have a timer, but I'm gonna guess that ruins was about 6:59.
I can tell you if you want.
Sure.
Once it catches up on stream.
So that's a split for the ruins.
Hey, do you think we've got a few minutes to discuss some stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, excellent. So first up, why don't we talk about the bid war for this game, which is the hug or no hug. Let's take a look at our totals. We've got a total of $25 for hug against $9.20 for no hug. So if you want to see a hug or no hug throughout this entire run, you can donate and put your money towards one of those two. I'm sure these guys feel strongly about one way or another, but
I'm sure a few of them do.
No hug is the correct answer.
All right, and then upcoming donation incentive names, we've got Dragon Quest V, which is the run after this, and we only have one name, which is Solomon. So you can certainly get your money in to donate for that too. That is Japanese characters only, but there's many open slots, so you can easily snipe it if you want. And finally, did you guys do a roll call of who you guys are?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, we did.
All right. Excellent. All right.
All right, so we are now in Snowden. Snowden is more or less the same kind of thing as the ruins, except there's less RNG. So remember when I said before how basically this is not your typical RPG speedrun at all. One of the factors contributing to that is that there's about 35 seconds total of RNG in this entire speedrun. Compare that to any other RPG speedrun, or you could call it an RNG speedrun if you want. Compare that to any other RPG speedrun, and that is significantly less, obviously.
There is, however, just as much menuing as you'd expect in an RPG.
So right there, I grabbed the Tough Glove out of the box, which is the first weapon we get in the run. So at the beginning of the run, you're equipped with a stick as a weapon. When you equip another weapon, that stick moves into your inventory when you unequip it. And we're going to use that stick as a consumable item to skip a lot of these next few fights. So you can use a stick to instantly spare the dog fights, every one of them.
Yeah,
So
it's
here's the
quote-unquote consumable because you don't actually consume it when you use it. Once the stick's in your inventory, you can't really get rid of it.
So that fight was pretty short.
And also, if at any point you think that the text mashing sounds are a bit different, that's because TGH actually alternates, depending on the scene, between mashing with a keyboard and a GameCube controller. Controller can be used to potentially mash a little faster, but it's a lot more physically exhausting, and it's difficult to go from controller mashing to immediately moving, so it's very situational where the controller's used.
Yes. Hard puzzle there. We just barely get past it. Okay. You do not need to consult that puzzle at all.
Absolutely not, which is for the better.
You
It's a
actually
little
can't solve
offensive,
that
no?
puzzle. You actually can't solve it technically because the long word in the puzzle isn't actually present in the
Yeah,
word
it's spelled wrong.
Yeah.
By the way, is my microphone still cutting out at all?
Sounds
You're
good
fine
now.
now, yeah.
All right, good. That's good.
All right, so more of the same here. This is the dog marriage. We're gonna use the stick to instantly spare the dogs here. Oops. Okay.
So there is an upcoming trick that used to exist, but in the version that TGH is using, it can no longer be used. But you would be able to skip a certain cutscene that Papyrus gave you in text.
Yeah, right
And
here.
it was actually kind of amusing because he would just fly across the screen. But with the version that is better for mashing, which TGH is using right now, it's no longer possible because the cutscene that triggers him to come towards you is a lot closer, a lot farther from the Switch. Sorry.
Yeah, the version of this game that we use for speedrunning now is actually the Linux build of the game, which is on version 1.01 of the game. We use it because, like as JD says, mashing is easier, and that's because, as Tej mentioned before, mashing is done through a combination of like Enter and Z, Shift and X. In version 1.0, or on the Windows builds as well, the game treats Enter and Z as the same keys, but it also prevents input rollover on those two keys. So if you are holding Enter, you can't press Z, and vice versa. That doesn't exist on this build, so you can avoid input rollovers and mash faster on average.
Okay, so there was the inevitable ice puzzle skip fail. So, alright, so I wasn't able to explain it beforehand, but that puzzle you can actually save 3 seconds on by standing in the right pixel on the top right tile and pressing down and right on the same frame. I pressed right a frame before I pressed down, so it didn't work.
Oh, did you move a pixel before you went down?
Yeah, I like, it was just a little bit,
Yeah.
but it was enough.
Hey, you got dog skip though.
Yep.
Yeah, the dog skip, it's an RNG move that lets you end the attack faster if you run into the dog that's sleeping on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it's the.
Otherwise,
it's the
you'll just get a
same
spear,
tutorial.
and that's slower.
It's inevitable. Every time I do a no reset run, that ice puzzle just doesn't work.
Sometimes, just
I feel
based on the way inputs in this game work, though, ice puzzle skip will still drop an input somewhere, even if you perform it correctly. Like, you can press down and right on the same frame, and sometimes the game will just interpret that as a different instruction. Sometimes.
I just do pausing strats.
I do pausing strats for everything except the down and right input. Which, I don't know. Maybe I should incorporate that. It loses frames, though, man. The frames.
Just
Anyway.
like hugging the goat, so don't do that, guys.
Speaking of which, we have $10 from JWC Gator saying, "Hug the goat."
Yo.
Man,
But what if it's world record pace?
Mm,
Then we hug the
I'd
goat.
probably still hug, honestly.
I mean, if you want
Gotta
world
hug the
record,
goat.
he's gonna have to get a good papyrus fight first, and I haven't seen a good papyrus fight in a marathon yet.
Yeah, this Papyrus is really hard.
Also, TGH, do I have permission to yell squat a lot during the river person cutscenes?
Of course you do. Of course you do.
So yeah,
So
that's
we
a death
died to
to
Papyrus because we're
Alright guys, that's gonna be a thing. I'll explain that later when it happens. It'll probably catch people by surprise.
one of these days I'll get good at this fight, man. This fight's just way too hard.
Papyrus is impossible. I'm
Papyrus
surprised you're
is-
doing
I've
this
never
good.
seen a speedrunner actually beat Papyrus.
I mean, you just keep dying to him. Why would you do that?
It'd be
God,
great if
man,
you just-
come on.
It would be great if you just skip this fight, honestly.
I'm trying to jump. I can't.
Although you wouldn't be able to date him if you skipped it.
Yeah.
That reminds me, don't forget to date Papyrus.
Thank you.
I'm here for you, man.
I mean, chat has a point. Maybe if you're doing a genocide run, you might be able
Yeah,
to beat
yeah,
this.
this, like, yeah, seriously. Unfortunately, though, it's too late to genocide. Whatever, dude. I can't beat this fight. Alright, so we've died 3 times. This run's awful.
Quote-unquote died, of course, because conveniently this is the only place in the game where if you die, you don't actually die and you just get sent backwards a little bit. I think Toby knew how hard this fight was.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a really good thing. Really good thing he made it so that you don't actually die. We'd lose so much more time.
Can I take a quick donation while you're dying over and over?
Sure.
Alright, we have $5 from Vanessa Magic saying 666 frames. Don't hug the goat.
Exactly.
666 frames. It's funny
Save the
'cause it's
goat or
true.
save the frames.
It's funny because it's
It's
true.
it's a war between frames and goat.
Okay.
So
You're
we're kind of
at-
just done with Papyrus now.
Yes, we're done with
Like-
Papyrus.
Fight doesn't matter.
So believe it or not, that was all an act. I wasn't actually I was intentionally dying to Papyrus, because it's 45 seconds faster to do that than it is to go through this fight normally. Because this is a great game.
So what TJ is saying is he was sucking on purpose.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so now I have the date Papyrus, and it's essentially all mashing except for a couple points. I assure you this run gets a little bit more interesting once we get to Waterfall.
And my internet's having kind of a hard time right now.
That's fine. You sound fine.
Yeah, but sometimes you guys are cutting out on me, and the video is also cutting out for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a point right here, and we got it. So, runners jokingly refer to that as spaghetti skip, because Papyrus offers you spaghetti right there, and it costs 4 seconds to eat it, and the menu is, like, really hard to do without, like, mashing a certain way. Because it sneaks up on you and there's no pause before it, like, gives you a choice. But we successfully refused this, so we're good. Alright, and onwards. Onwards to Waterfall. Have a little bit of time. Any more donations to be read? This is going to be, like, the last time to read them, honestly, because after this, it's a rapid fire.
No problem. We don't have anything right now, and we can certainly be quiet for a while, but just remember that we're raising money for Pure and Suzuri Bako to make it to this AGDQ. So keep on top of making sure that this donation incentive, which is the whole thing, gets met. We don't have any specific incentives coming up, but definitely check out the bid wars and the file names, next of which is Dragon Quest V, and we got Final Fantasy III afterwards. So yeah, just take a look, and we can hand this over to the Undertale gods for the rest of the time. Let me know if there's a time to speak, but certainly feel free.
Awesome. There will be, but not for a while, honestly.
Yep.
Definitely make sure that Kyo can make it to the event because he reserved my room.
Okay, so right now is as good a time as any to explain the punch card. Alright, so the one item I explained in the ruins, the one item I talked about in the ruins that is going to completely destroy this game is called the punch card. What the punch card does is it allows us to, well, first off, you get it by buying a nice cream from the nice cream salesman in Waterfall, and you can get this punch card as like a buy one get one free type of thing. It's pretty much a joke item, and when you use it, it brings a sprite up on the screen, but it's the only item in the game where in between where you press use to use it and the sprite actually appearing on the screen, there's a 1 frame gap. I'm going to refer to this gap as the in-between frame because it is important and will be referred to constantly. So this in-between frame can be used to do a lot of things. It can be used to move, it can be used to interact with things, it can be used to start cutscenes, and the function of the punch card as well, and like how it alters the code is also really important. So you have this value in the code called interact. It's a global value, and it basically, long story short, it determines whether or not you can move. If it's 1, you can't move. If it's 0, like it is right now, we can move. So, when you use this punch card, your interact value is 1. You can't move when the sprite's on the screen. Much like the interact value is 1 when we're in a cutscene or like other places where we can't move. When we get rid of the punch card on the screen, it switches your interact value back to 0 regardless of what's going on in the game, like around you. It just so happens that we can pause and move a step on the same frame, and that precedes cutscenes starting by it prioritizes itself over cutscenes actually starting. So we can effectively stand on a pixel and have a cutscene not start if our menu is open. Then when we use the punch card, we can reset the interact value back to 0 and we can move through the cutscene.
Sounds like a mouthful, but it looks very simple when executed, and
Yes.
it's simply possible due to the fact that, I would say, you move onto the pixel of a cutscene trigger and open the menu. The reason that it works so well is that the cutscene will not play until you exit the menu. So as long as you get the menu open on the correct frame, you then have as long as you want to menu to the punch card and use it, as long as you don't close the menu.
So you just saw the first instant of it right there. I overflowed the box after organizing my items. I'll explain that in a second, actually. I gotta focus for this.
Nice.
Okay. We did not soft lock, we're good. You can easily soft lock on that trick if you're not careful.
Yeah, text overflowing is like a similar deal to using the punch card, but as we say, as well as starting cutscenes, you can also interact with objects on the in-between frame. So you do that, and then the interact value gets reset to 0, so you are interacting with a text box, and you could start moving at the same time. So you can basically move around with the text box still on the screen. And then we essentially end up using text boxes as utilities, such as one right here, because we overflow the first text box here, and then a second force text box is going to come up at the end of this corridor, which stops you, and then by closing the first text box, we just regain control again. If you close the first text box early, though, you soft lock when you walk into the second text box. I've done that before. Without knowing that's what happened. I didn't know that happened when you did that, so I lost a nice run for that.
If you hold up and down in this room, you can move at about double speed. I think it's exactly double speed, actually. And
then the other main utility of the punch card we're seeing everywhere is also wrong warping, which you should probably explain that to Tej or JD if you'd like, because I'm not too clued up on wrong warping.
Sure.
All right, wrong warping. Let's do it. All right. So chapter 1. Just kidding. It's the prologue. So you use the punch card at the very edge of a room when you're going into a loading zone. You have to be up against a wall for this because it gives you more frames to work with, and like you have a much higher chance of soft locking if you don't. So you use the punch card to enter a loading zone, and you continually mash Z and let go of the directions as you're transitioning, and it actually skips the game, putting you into the location that it would put you after normally entering the room, and it goes straight to the game putting you in the default position for that room, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By default position, we mean just the position that the game drops you off in if you were to, say, mess around.
Well, if I could explain something really quick. During that section, I was actually able to manipulate where the spears were appearing. I know it probably looked like, except for that one instance in the middle where I got really bad RNG with the spears, it kind of looked like I was getting incredible RNG. I really wasn't, because during that part, the game doesn't take into account where you're actually like traveling to. Like if you're walking to the right, it won't take that into account. It takes into account where you, like what arrow keys you're actually holding. So if like for instance, actually I need to try this. Oh, I missed it. Damn, run over. There's a trick you can do there. We can walk on top of the water. I missed it. But anyway, so if I'm holding up and right up against like a piece of collision on the northern part of the dock, you can actually manipulate where the spears are. So if I'm holding up and right, the spears will basically try to appear above me. Alright, I'll explain the Mad Dummy fight as well. Mad Dummy fight. Okay, so I'm going to take intentional damage right here. And the reason I did that was because I effectively just blocked a cotton ball from hitting Mad Dummy. If you hit him with too many cotton balls, it actually advances his attack pattern to something rather unfavorable for us to actually maximize our efficiency with actually hitting him. So like
Yeah,
you'd be
what
doing
we're
something
going for here is
completely
5
different.
cycle, basically.
Yes. And that was perfect.
Yeah, this is good so far. Those angles were awkward though.
That should be an easy 5. Yep.
Yeah, that was
Perfect.
Very nice.
We didn't die. That's good. That's good. Well, there's still time. So this part, it actually doesn't matter whether or not you hit him with the missiles. It does matter with the cotton balls. You need to hit him with enough for either 5 or 6 cycle. But as far as the missiles go, you don't actually need to hit him. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, the cotton balls are based on getting a specific number of hits on him, but this section is simply a fixed 4-turn segment and the hits are irrelevant.
It's kind of strange. My internet doesn't usually do this. Like every 2 minutes or so, it just kind of goes down for a split second, and then it catches up.
That's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't usually do that at all.
Oh yeah, and as Chad is saying as well, it's not possible to PCE past Mad Dummy. Like, you can use the PCE trick on the trigger as normal, but then there is actually an invisible wall right ahead of your position which you simply can't get past. Like, the loading zone is there, we've just got no way to reach it. If there was a way to enable no-clip and just go around the invisible wall, because you can't even get through the invisible wall in no-clip, I don't think, can you?
No.
No, you can't.
You have to go around it.
Yeah, so even in no-clip,
But you
have to
cannot
around
go
the
through it.
invisible wall. But once you get around it, you could theoretically skip the fight. We've just got no way to get through the invisible wall.
Yeah, it's not seeming possible at this point. I guess I will explain Undyne.
Sure.
Well, Undyne is... There are several different ways to skip several of Undyne's battles, because she has several different phases. Like, she catches you once, you fight her, you flee, she catches you times, and then we only have to do it once. And there's an advanced way to do that that skips her intro cutscene as well, but it's pretty difficult, and TGH is about to perform it soon.
Yes. So essentially, it's two really quick. We call it PCE, punch card exploit. 2 really quick PCEs, and followed by a pretty well-timed rung warp, which I'm going to attempt.
This is easily the hardest trick of the game, though, so I'm going to just be quiet and let Teach focus on landing this.
Definitely. So there are 2 rung warps we do here before the monster kit, actually 3. And then once we get to the Undyne arena screen, we will attempt Undyne, and hopefully we will nail it.
Those wrong ones are good. Alright, this is it. Good luck, Teach.
Thank you. There we go.
Very nice. Very
Good.
nice.
So that was a successful Undyne right there. Skips a lot of Undyne, and you only
Yeah.
have to battle her once.
It all happens too fast to really keep track of what's
Yeah.
going on, but like trust me, if there was an input cam going on, you look at what's actually going on with the inputs, that is very technical to perform.
And here we have the Undyne fight, which is pretty simple. We challenge 4 times to make the arrows actually fly faster at us.
So this is one Undyne as well, because it implies that we only get one fight cycle with Undyne. The room that we're running through now, you actually need to stop in this room slightly, because if you run as fast as you can away from Undyne, the movement cycles line up in a way that you actually get a second fight near the end of the screen. So we stop slightly early underneath the W in the Welcome to Hotland sign, and that actually allows us to escape Undyne in one fight cycle.
We do not have to water Undyne, actually, even though this is true pacifist. Because the flag for you having to water her is actually when she collapses. If she doesn't collapse, you never have to water her. And obviously the game doesn't, the game doesn't anticipate you leaving the room before she actually collapses because you're supposed to be stalled there. But since we PCE'd the cutscene, and just because of the way the flag works, we do not need to water her. And since this is TPE, we will be fleeing from the Vulcan. In neutral, you'd actually kill that Vulcan. Fun fact. To get to level 4 to make Asgore a little bit quicker.
So now we have Hotland, which is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people think so, this is the most entertaining and technical part of the run. There are a lot of PC tricks, including out-of-bounds tricks, as you're seeing here, using the steam vents.
Yep, that's called Fast Pan. That saves about 3 seconds over getting it normally. So we PC'd the vent, and that allowed us to basically launch ourselves out of bounds. I think it's interesting to note that in order to perform pretty much all of these, of the wrong warps to PCEs, you have to be standing on just the right pixel, so they are technically pixel perfect.
Yeah, like quote-unquote pixel perfect, because this game is hardly a 1080p game.
Alright,
This
so if
game
you
is
just saw
actually
that,
very low res.
TGH just skips those 2 puzzles that you would normally do on the left and right
Yeah. And now jetpack skip.
by simply using a vent
Okay, perfect.
to... I cut out again, didn't I?
Slightly. You're okay though,
A
man.
little, yeah.
It's no big deal.
Jetpack skip was very nice as well, though.
Yeah, so the way that works, jetpack skip, is you like just one PCE there isn't
Yeah, skip
enough to
those 2
actually
puzzles
skip
really
it.
bad right now.
Just one
I just lost
PCE.
like 10 seconds of footage. East-west skip.
Exactly. And so you can see that we're backtracking here. That's because there are 3 instances in Hotlands of skipping scenes involving Metaton. And whilst you're in a Metaton cutscene, you actually lose access to your menu. This carries over even if you perform a PC trick and skip the scene in question. So in order to re-enable the menu and keep using PCE tricks, we need to exit Hotland. Thankfully, with the elevators, it doesn't take very long to leave the area and come back, and it's even shorter with run warps. Also, volume warning.
Nah, turn your volume up for this.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah, I was at the wrong spot. There we go.
Oh, that was good. There
This
we
is
go.
actually quite a dangerous skip, because it's easy to soft lock there if you don't start moving fast enough.
I wonder if restarting my router would be a dangerous move here.
You could try it.
There are the what faces.
3 buffer for bomb skip is still decent. That's,
I'll go see what I can do about that. See you in a bit.
Pretty much all of the PC tricks that we go for, they're all dependent on visual cues, about knowing which pixel the cutscene is going to occur on. So that one is very difficult to gauge since there are no visual effects on the screen. The only visual cue we have to go on is the position of the player character's feet.
Yeah, like half the game is basically knowing the trigger pixels for everything. And the execution is itself an entity.
So as mentioned before, that's another Metaton scene, so we need to exit and re-enter Hotlands. But now we have access to the third floor.
What the hell? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. That was weird. Okay.
This is... Yeah,
Go
do you
ahead.
want to explain North-South skip?
Sure. North-South skip. So just like we skipped the East and West puzzles, we're going to skip the North and South puzzles as well by going out of bounds. Hopefully this works fine. That one didn't. Hello. Alright, whatever. So that wasn't a particularly impressive one, but it was still okay.
Getting each of the actual out of bounds first try is still decent though, because getting out of bounds successfully is frame perfect on both of those.
Like, it's frame perfect, but it's fairly easy to mash it. Like, I kind of do like a combination of like a mash and a timing. Like, I time my mash, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Do you
it
use
helps.
both the enter and the Z keys when you're mashing that?
I do, yes.
Right. Because when I go for that, I only use the Z key, so I find it quite difficult to consistently get.
Okay, so there's another Metaton skip cutscene, which means we'll be going back to left floor 1 again to the water cooler room to get our menu back. But first, we need to go up to this room and trigger a flag. So this cutscene right here that I just stopped to encounter is the flag for the elevator to actually bring us back to this floor. So we need to encounter that cutscene before doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Like,
we would have to go through north-south skip again and do all that stuff again. Skip muffin again.
It looks like we're going really far out of the way right here, but this is still significantly faster than watching Metatons play and then doing the dungeon puzzle.
It's actually about 7 seconds faster than not doing the color puzzle. Which
That's
it's
significant.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Oops. Whatever. I skipped those elevators, by the way, by pressing, whoops. Opening my menu and interacting with the panel on the same frame. So I'm pressing Z and C on the same frame. Okay, so last little stretch here before we get to New Home.
Yeah, this is another very technical section, albeit it's quite short. We're going to see some unique tricks coming up, but once we hit New Home, it's a good time to, I don't know, go and flip the kettle on. Maybe get something to eat.
Yep.
Not too much going on after the start of New Home.
This is a relatively new strat. Shout out to Cookie Apocalypse for finding this strat. Hopefully I can pull this off, because it looks pretty cool. Nope, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to move one step sometimes. You can always buffer that, but whatever.
Don't leave the room too early.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's necessary to not leave that room too early because the game doesn't treat the puzzle as being solved until the, you win text is off the screen.
Yep. Also, saving is impossible. Fun fact. Okay, so we're gonna encounter Stigmatism here. All these encounters, by the way, interesting to note, all these encounters are scripted. They will never change. It's not actually RNG at all. Okay.
I'm slightly surprised you didn't take a safety save there.
I did before. I took a save in the middle. In the middle of the core. Fun fact, also, that is the only time in the entire run that we see Metaton, and we walk straight through him.
Yep. And that's a very easy PCE trigger to miss, because Frisk's hitbox is kind of disjointed. Like, the player's hitbox doesn't actually correspond to the body shape. It's like the top part of the head doesn't have a solid hitbox and it extends out of your bottom half a little bit. So when you're trying to hit a pixel perfect trigger, you can't just use like the top of the head as a visual cue. And if you miss that, then you have to go through with fighting Metatone, which takes forever.
Ah, whatever. I suppose it's the wrong warp there, but I missed it.
So we got Magalore Skip coming up as well.
Yep.
It's a very interesting application of text overflowing.
Shoutouts to Magler 5000. I know he's here. So you can overflow this key and use the text box to reset your interact value upon hitting this trigger right there for the encounter, and it whoops. There we go. And it skips the cutscene.
Yeah. It doesn't specifically need to be the key's text either, it's just the most convenient text to use. Like, if you missed it, you could still get a text overflow off one of the flowers.
Yep. Unfortunately, we can't skip any of this text. If it were New Game Plus, we could. Nice. If it were New Game Plus, we could, but since we did a true reset before the run, we cannot skip that text. Alright, and the last little bit of, inside New Home, the last little bit of speed tech here is look skip. We can actually wrong warp past another encounter here if we get the right pixel. We're gonna wrong warp past it anyway, but we're gonna see if we... Nope, I missed it. There we go, so we'll just
Nice.
get back and do it.
Welcome back, JD.
I don't think I fixed it.
You sound good right now.
They sound fine.
You just wait.
Alright then.
I still can't connect back to the Twitch chat,
I noticed
but
somebody
I
asked in
think
chat.
that's a glitch.
Somebody asked in chat about dating Undyne. We do that after defeating Asgore. It's faster to go back and do it after Asgore.
Spoilers, TGH.
This
This
is
is
a speed
exactly
run,
why
sir.
Toby didn't want people to run this game at Marathon.
I'm sorry for giving you guys spoilers during a speed run. I'm the worst kind of person.
Spoilers.
Asking about the weapon usage, we use the burnt pan in this route instead of the empty gun because, quite simply, in true pacifist, you can't afford the empty gun. Since we don't do any battles and don't, like, kill anything or even really spare many encounters, we can't afford the empty gun. And honestly, when it comes between choosing the burnt pan or the empty gun, it's often comes down to a matter of player preference, like which one you're better at using.
Exactly. Like, there are a lot of people that are way better with the gun than the pan. I personally am the opposite. I'm way better with the pan than the gun, which works out. So there's something coming up. Shoutouts to, by the way, shoutouts to Rambu and Valnar, first off, for discovering this punch card glitch.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the next trick is named after Rambu. We call it the Rambu Kombu. And it's a series of 3 straight wrong warps done really quickly up into Asgore's lair after skipping Sands. And yes, we skip Sands. We skip Judgment. Sorry for spoilers. Okay, so we're gonna save here. Because you have to save there.
Saving at any point after this will actually mess up the internal save flags of the game, and the game will think we haven't made specific bits of progress that we actually have up to this point. Because once we beat Asgore and finish the neutral ending, it's essentially doing a New Game Plus segment where we reload from the last save and then go and do other events. And if we saved in the wrong spot, then we don't have the right flags set in the game memory.
So that was Rambu Kombu. Right there. And that was a fairly good one. Aside for the first one, which it took some time to set up.
It was a good Judgment Skip as well, and Judgment Skip is one of the most important single PCEs you can hit.
Yep. Alright, so this is Asgore. The Asgore battle is pretty important. Because every time... Okay, so the way the burnt pan works mechanically is there are 4 cursors that go across the screen. You gotta try to get them as close to the middle as possible. And if you get all 4 right in the middle, which is frame perfect for each hit, it doubles your damage on Asgore. And since the fight is HP based and not cycle based, that's really important to try to get as many as you can.
Yeah, like
I pressed that in my
Asgore is
frame.
pretty much known within the community as like being the gatekeeper of this run. Like you can get good times without a good Asgore fight, but you can save upwards of a minute between a really good Asgore fight and a really bad Asgore fight. And hit quality is something that's pretty difficult to develop, and you just need to practice it a lot. The cursor's speed that you see on the screen as well, this is why there's a big difference between the burnt pan and the empty gun as mentioned before. The burnt pan cursors move relatively slowly, and if we were using the empty gun cursors, they'll be moving a lot faster. Some people just find that easier to deal with, including me.
So you can see that last hit did 341 damage, whereas that one only did 181. Like that's the difference between literally missing by 1 frame and not missing by 1 frame.
And since, as we're saying, since 1 frame can make like a turn's difference in this fight, and turns essentially save like 8 seconds if you save a turn, you can look at that in terms of if you make a 1 frame mistake, you lose 8 seconds. Like this is a brutal fight to get good times in.
Jeez.
This is, however, a 30 FPS game, so thankfully it's not like we have a 60th of a second to get frame perfect hits. That's
Yes.
the good news. However, the bad news is that as far as looking at how the game works, depending on system or whatever else elements are in play, it's possible for this game to experience lag frames, and the game doesn't slow down when it lags, it simply skips frames. So if the game happens to lag on the frame you need for a perfect hit, it will simply skip the perfect hit frame. So like you can land the perfect hit properly, but if the game lags, it will simply skip the hit to the next frame.
Pretty sure that would have killed. Yeah, I only had 27 left there. So you need to get Asgore to 450 HP. As soon as you get him to 450 HP, it just kind of like it just kills him. Like his basically so in other words, he had 477 HP left there, or 478 rather. Whenever he gets to 450 HP, it just goes straight to 0. I'm not sure why, but that's just the way it works. That's just the mechanic of it. So in reality, I was 27 HP short of killing Asgore there on the turn before. Alright, so I'm going to try to get the screen share working as quickly as I can.
Oh yeah, the game always crashes at this point.
Yep. Flowey
it's-
forcibly closes your game, and you have to
Yeah,
load it up as quickly as you can. So I time it. I know exactly how long my load times are, basically.
And yeah, to clear up any confusion in the chat, despite the fact that this is true pacifist, we do kill Asgore because that's the only option in the fight. And once we reload the game after the neutral ending, it won't remember the actions that we've taken against Asgore and Flowey in the first place. This fight is also a great opportunity to get off any donations if there's a queue building up, since this is basically auto-scroller for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, this fight, Flowey is just gonna throw a bunch of stuff at us. Bombs, vines, missiles, finger guns, you name it. Yeah, Toby has quite the imagination. But you have so much health. Like, as long as you don't get hit by like a ton of stuff, you will not die. In fact, if you have full HP going into the Flowey fight, it takes 14 hits to die.
Yeah, like there's a lot being said about, like even right now in the chat about, oh, this fight's really creepy, scary, or whatever. This is actually the easiest fight in the game. If you know what you're doing, it's virtually impossible to die in this fight.
all good? Take some time to go for some stuff. Is that all right?
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent. So yeah, the latest update on the bid war versus no bid, or sorry, bid war for hug versus no hug
Versus no.
yeah, versus no bid war. We've got $35 still for hug, and we've got $19.20 for no hug. So if you feel strongly about hug or no hug, this is your time to get it in. We've got about, I was told, a little bit under 30 minutes, maybe about 20, 25 minutes to go. So if you want to see it, make it happen. Furthermore, we've got upcoming naming incentive for Dragon Quest V, which is right after this run. We only have 2 slots right now, which one is, or the one in first is Noogie for $14.20, and the one in second is Soroman for $10. We had a donation come in before we went quiet for a while from McNuggies420, who donated $14.20 and says, "Puff the Magic Dragon Quest, Noogie." Alright.
Please don't make me throw this bid war for the second marathon in a row, though. I had to personally win no hug last marathon.
So yeah, there's nothing really much to say about the Flowery fight, honestly. Like, I know it seems like there's a lot going on, but it's like, it's really all very simple, honestly. Like, this act button comes from the same place every time. It's all about just being as optimal as you can, hitting the act buttons. That's the only thing that can lose you time. Of course, you gotta be careful not to miss any act buttons as well. That will cost you, like, almost a minute. Flowery likes to abuse save states. It's a really interesting game mechanic.
Yeah, this is a really creative fight. Like, however else you feel about the fight, it uses a lot of interesting ideas.
I think my internet might be clearing up now, but I don't want to jinx myself.
Don't jinx it, dude.
My internet tends to do that a lot.
See if we can get all of those. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Yes!
Oh,
I mean, it's impossible to get every one of them, but...
TGH, is this no-hit Flowey?
Yes.
yeah.
Obviously. Can't you tell?
It's easy.
Just like Sans. Sans is also very easy.
But as far as the attacks themselves go as well, I see questions in the chat about what causes
Sans
specific
game.
attacks. There is nothing that causes specific attacks. Flowey's attack patterns are just completely random.
Yep. Yep, it's completely RNG. In fact, they say, like, there are a few completely masochistic people who want to try to no-hit this fight. In reality, according to certain sources, I don't know exactly where, but I heard somewhere that apparently only 4% of all Flowey fights in their entirety are actually able to be no-hit. Like, physically able to be no-hit. Like, the possibility exists in only 4% of Flowey fights to no-hit. I don't know if that's entirely true, but I believe them.
It seems very realistic to think that, and a no-hit Flowey would never occur in a speedrun as well, because we deliberately damage boost during the soul phases to save time, such as coming up here.
Yep. Yeah, so you just hit that act button as fast as possible by just damage boosting to the pan. We don't really, honestly, with the Flowey fight, we really don't even care if we get hit. Like, it's like, I could stand here I could honestly stand in one place for 30 seconds and probably not die.
Yeah, like, it's mathematically
do it.
difficult to die. Like, the way the damage works is that Flowey only ever deals 25% of your current remaining HP, so the first couple of hits seem to do a lot of your health bar, and then it rapidly tails off as your health bar decreases. And the final hit is basically just one that takes you to a fraction of a single HP, and the game just rounds it to 0. So
Okay,
at this
so
point,
it's like
though,
a phase.
yeah, at this point we're going to actually deliberately close the game.
Okay, so 8 volleys. I'm gonna try to time my load here. And that was pretty good, I believe. Whoops.
Don't worry about screen share right now if you want, because you're going to need to close the game again soon anyway.
That's fine.
I already did. I already closed my Skype because of the internet.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so as is customary in Undertale speedrunners chats, it is tradition to just spam out during this part. So don't be afraid. Nothing, you know. There's nothing abnormal going on here. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
This is beautiful.
I'm talking about the chat. So basically,
the chat.
Basically, during this part, as long as you get the healing items, you're fine. Like I don't know. I don't normally try to do anything special for this. Like, there's really no need to even avoid these, to be honest. At least, you know, if you try a little bit to avoid it, it's fine. Like, you kind of need to try to avoid it a little bit, but it's not totally necessary.
Doing okay. Turns out it's not.
It's almost done. There we go.
There we go. So, like, I would say something like a good flowy fight as a courtesy, but as we say, it's virtually predetermined the length of the fight every time.
Yep. Flowey, typically from Asgore's death to you touching the door at the end of the neutral ending, is almost exactly 11 minutes every time with optimal loads.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 loads were pretty good. Well, now that your chat experiences are ruined, it's time to continue on with the rest of the pacifist ending.
Squad Lion coming.
According to the whispers I'm receiving, some people have got entirely ruined chat experiences because we've got some globals.
Some people got globed. Don't worry, it's normal. It happens. It happens. People
It's
who
kind
got...
of a ritual. It's like an initiation into the community.
Exactly. People who got globed, you're awesome.
Exactly. Don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess for like a quick bit of information, the cutoff point for Hug versus No Hug is going to be after the final boss of True Pacifist Route. Like, we've got a couple of dating / text mashing scenes coming up, and then a final dungeon, and then a final boss fight, and the cutoff point is after that boss fight. So keep them coming, guys. There's not too long left. Like, I would say there's no more than 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's the end of the neutral right there.
Hey, Teach, since I can't see, can you just tell me when you're at the river?
Sure. Okay, so we reload from our save point there, and you might have noticed we killed Asgore and Flowey, so you might be thinking like, oh, well, I mean, Pacifist is dead, right? No, because we killed them before we actually saved. There we go. Downward wrong warps are really much more difficult than see, because just the way your menu works.
So it may be a little tricky to see there, but there was a menuing mistake in the item menu where Tej accidentally selected the stick instead of the punch card. With all of the menuing for PCs, we try to do it really quickly. The absolute worst thing you can do in that situation is select the punch card and like drop it, or in battle use it, because you can't get rid of the stick, but you sure as hell can get rid of the punch card, and you can't get it back.
JD, I'll get you on the next one. We just rode in the boat. Yeah,
Oh,
Jacob was
sorry.
explaining.
Draco, you had one job.
We'll do the next one. There are actually 2 more boat rides.
Yes. That's 2 Squaddalaws. Hopefully it won't be a robotic Squaddalaw.
I hope it's the most crystal clear thing to come from this entire run.
Alright, so the next one's after the Undying date.
So the Undying Date is basically, it's kind of like the Papyrus Date from earlier, honestly. It's a lot of mashing, and a couple times where we have to do some unique stuff. It's pretty intense, honestly. So right now you could say we're reeling Undyne in.
Jesus Christ.
I'll see myself out. Don't worry. Sorry, guys.
I just love a cozy hot cup of lapsang souchong tea.
Y'all kids talking about enjoying tea when you're not even British?
I mean, you don't have to be British to talk about tea.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I'm telling you, that's how it works.
Seeing as you are British after all.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's a point coming up right here where we have to just mash as fast as we can, and it's pretty fun. So until now, mashing was all technical, and now you can just... Yeah. There we go. All right. It's actually faster to do that, to mash like that. That's at that point. Now we just need to hold right. This is epic meal time with Undyne.
Yeah, this is literally hold right to win.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of like Super Mario Brothers, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hold right, and it's good. That was a joke before you guys get mad, okay? That was a joke.
I mean, sometimes you hold left in Mario, just not for very long.
Okay. JD, get ready, man. Draco, shut up.
Okay, just let me
JD,
know.
get ready.
Wait. When is it?
I'll tell you when.
Alright.
Go.
Squaddala! We are up!
That was timed so well.
Oh my god.
I couldn't contain it. That was so good. This is such perfect timing. Considering you couldn't see the game. Okay, so now we're gonna do Alfie's. And Alfie's, okay, so
I hope someone
Alfie's-
clipped that.
Alfie's is just mashing, literally. Like, there's nothing to do besides just mash. And get that skip. We got dating stop skip, which is just basically, hey, you mash fast enough, you saved 3 seconds because the game couldn't, like, load the text properly. I'm not sure how that works, honestly. I just know that if you mash fast enough, you can get past that without it playing, without it actually showing up. Like, the black bar at the bottom is supposed to say, like, dating start, but it never shows up. Oh, so
for part 3.
chat, is anime real or not real?
Of course it's not.
Of course, the
Very
entire
good question,
marathon has
TGH.
culminated to this.
Allow me to scientifically figure out the answer to that. It's real.
Damn it.
Well, do you have evidence?
No.
Undyne's
Juggly.
facial expressions here are just about the best thing in the game as well, by the way.
It's clear. Okay, alright, wait. It's real, okay.
Don't waste time to check.
Alright,
Anime is definitely real. There's no doubt about it.
the dates are fun.
Jug Boy.
Okay, so from fun to even more fun, upcoming is truly the most technical part of the entire run. We're gonna be entering Chew Lab pretty soon.
But first we gotta go 2 for 2 on Squattlears.
Here we go. I'll tell you when, JD. Go.
Squadala! We are off!
That one, it's not your fault, but that one wasn't as good because we didn't get the dog boat. The first one was really good because we got the dog, the dog boat.
And it was exactly the same time as
Yep.
well.
Okay. So now that Alfie's is gone from the lab, we can enter Chew Lab. And Chew Lab is we have a phrase, a term for Chew Lab. We call it wrong warp hell because it is actually wrong warp hell. We wrong warp all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think it's really been touched on too much in the commentary so far, but wrong warping is fundamentally quite dangerous because if you don't perform it properly, i.e. if you don't get the punch card off screen fast enough as you do the wrong warp, you immediately softlock.
Yes.
And that occurs on every wrong warp you attempt.
And since the rooms are generally really large in Chew Lab, which is why it's effective. It's very it saves a lot of time to wrong warp in pretty much all of these rooms.
Why don't you just wrong warp to the credits? Yeah, good question. Why don't you just do that, Teach?
Because I'm not good enough.
I mean, if you do debug, you can just teleport to the credits, that works.
Alright, so
Yeah,
I
just
just
turn on
chose
debug,
cell
easy.
there. I chose cell, and now I'm going to choose refuse. Now that I can understand what they're saying, I still really can't, but whatever. It's fine. We don't need to know. Okay, turn on the sync again for good measure. That was a mistake. We need to wash our hands after that battle. So I'm doing some safety saves in Chew Lab that I probably wouldn't normally do, just because it is a little bit dangerous. There's always that chance. Luckily, since these text boxes on the saves are only one text box long, it's pretty quick to save. Otherwise, it can be a little tricky, honestly. So this is Endogeny Skip. You overflow the switch and talk to the sign and press yes at the same time, and you skip them. And you have to do it like that, or else it won't actually trigger the switch. That wrong warp failed for some reason. That's not a very significant wrong warp anyway. Okay, so we're going around grabbing keys and placing them in their slots there. So here's lemon bread. Lemon bread can be a little nasty. As in, like, some of his attacks can actually be kind of unavoidable. Sometimes.
Yeah, like, depending on the attack RNG here, there's a legitimate risk of actually dying in this fight because even though like TJ is avoiding all the attacks, being that we're still just level 1, we only have 20 max HP and we have really bad armor on, so you take a lot of damage from attacks.
We actually don't even have any armor on right now. So on Lemon Bread, I did unhug, flex, and hum were the actions. Snowdrake's mom, we just kind of like joke 3 times and the battle's done. That was some intense, intense dodging right there.
Hey, how much time are we looking at?
For the hug,
Yep.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, everybody. Get your donations in for hug versus no hug. Still $35 to about 15. So hug's in the lead. Make it happen.
Shout out to Cookie Apocalypse for this skip. This is Reaper Bird skip. Please. There we go. Perfect. So, it was initially known that we could actually punch card past Reaper Bird there. But it wasn't necessarily known how to like actually skip Reaper Bird, because as soon as you came back into that room, it would like just trigger the encounter again. Okay, I was a little careful with that overflow. This is gonna help me skip some text here. But we found out that if you wrong warp back through the room again, like, you can skip all the text. But you can skip, you can skip Reaper Bird. Oops. There we go. If you leave the room before Alfie's there, you actually soft lock. So we need to be careful with that. For whatever reason, overflowing the generator like that actually, it actually, like, causes a lot of text to be skipped from Alfie's. Nobody's really sure why yet. That's actually a really recent skip. Yeah, it says smell, because the first line of text in the code is it says wake up and smell the pain, and I don't know, like, nobody really knows who says it. It's not even in the game, actually. It's not like said anywhere in the game other than when you overflow. So it's probably like just a test line of text. Okay. So now that we've come back here after dating, we're gonna battle Asgore again. Just kidding, actually. We're not gonna battle Asgore again. So cue this pretty long, very dialogue-heavy cutscene where everybody comes together. So Toriel comes to the rescue here and just basically bops Asgore. See ya. Toriel's first appearance since the very beginning of the game. Yeah, nothing really here besides mashing. So we're about to fight Azrael, though. Spoilers.
Azrael is Flowey.
Flowey is Azrael.
Guys, come
There
on.
we go.
Man.
We knew better than this. It's a speed run. Come on.
Azri is Flowey.
Azri is Flowey. Torgor is wait a second.
Nice try.
Torgor.
That was the worst matching ever. Very bad timing. Matching can get pretty technical, honestly. Yeah, nothing much to say here. How's Hug versus No Hug doing?
Looks like we're still at the same amounts. We've got, let me check. We've got $35 for Hug, $19.20 for No Hug. This is the last straw. Get your donations in if you feel strongly about having a hug or no hug.
I think the Azure flight takes about 8 or 9 minutes, I want to say. So we have about that long.
You heard him. Get it in.
So I feel like for the most part, I should just be kind of silent during the Azrael fight. He has a bunch of pretty intense attacks, but hopefully none that we can't handle.
If you want, sure, me and JD can cover the commentary side.
Yeah, sure, if you want to.
Yeah, sounds good. If I don't cut out, hopefully.
So as the Azrael fight starts anyway, it doesn't matter what our beginning actions are because the fight doesn't actually start progressing until the colourful background begins. So we just take the opportunity to dream, first of all, to fill our inventory with healing items, which we may need during the fight because the attacks during this fight are pretty difficult to consistently dodge.
Oh, couldn't get the color glitch. I was hoping for it. If you actually spare on the first frame possible there, you get this really weird but really awesome glitch where Azrael just kind of flies around with his colors and not like the outline of his body. It's pretty interesting, but it saves about a second to do it. But I missed it, so.
Yeah, for these attacks in this first phase, you just kind of want to spare him until you get to the next phase, because no matter how you do the attacks, it's just going to go at the same speed. So you just want to survive. You can use Dream and Hope to heal yourself as you go. It doesn't take very much time at all, because it's still the same amount of turns.
Yeah, if you are going to try and use a healing item though and use a lot of Dream, menuing is pretty important since we still need to maintain the pie in the inventory for a small sub-fight later, and if we use the pie then, that just takes a bit of time.
Yeah, you don't want to use the pie here. Not yet.
I got hit twice already.
So as we get into the second half of the fight as well, Azrael's going to gain access to like a second tier of attacks. I think it starts here. Yeah, this is Shockbreaker 2. So these attacks kind of mirror the types of attacks that we've seen before, but they're more elaborate and more difficult to avoid. Like this one, I hate dodging this one. I find this really...
Yeah, these stars curve actually. Very slightly, but just enough to...
This actually causes
you
me
up.
to frequently die in this fight as well. The one that really matters to dodge is the final attack of this phase called Hypergona, which you will definitely know it when you see it. It's very important to dodge that attack because getting hit by it at any point will reduce you to 1 HP, and it's extremely dangerous to be at low HP when you enter the next phase.
So that's the last attack before Hypergoner. If we don't avoid Hypergoner, it's actually not really that big of a deal. It's just a different strat to deal with the next part of the fight.
Yeah, it's hardly a run killer, but it does waste some unnecessary time if you don't get it. That was a pretty nice pattern though.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're officially entering the second half of this fight. So these attacks here are going to be pretty hard to avoid. Like, they kind of have a mind of their own. Like, they kind of almost... I don't know how I didn't get hit by that.
Yeah, how in the world did he dodge all that?
Wow, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not even going to lie, I got lucky there. So there's the first hit. Oh, I got glitch hit.
Oh wow, that was a menu hit. So it is possible to get hit in the menu there from the, I think it's just the tail of the attacks, isn't it, that they can still hit you?
I was trying to die there and I didn't. Yo, I'm gonna try this. I might as well. Oh!
Oh,
What? What?
How did you dodge that?
What?
Proof
Okay.
call. Proof call. TGH cheats.
Proof call. That was pretty insane. Like, I think the cycle ended, like, literally a frame before I got hit.
Yeah, right.
And this part is just basically, it's all menuing. Most of the menus aren't too, like, extensive, because you can just match most of them. Only the last ones actually matter. Like, this one I have to choose Nerd Out, or you don't have to, but it's faster to choose Nerd Out. For Alpes, just because it has the shortest text box, has the shortest dialogue. So like here I could just mash. As long as I do one, like, throughout these 3 cycles, as long as I do one action for each, it's always a 3 cycle... Hello? There we go. Always a 3 cycle section there.
And this is what we've been saving the Pi 4 all run as well.
There, so there I ate the pie. And choose Mercy. Okay, so it's coming up pretty soon on the Hug or No Hug. And that is the Azrael fight right there. And that's essentially the run. Like, the run's pretty much over. We just need to get to the end and get the last text box from Toriel, and that is the run.
All right, we're ready. You tell us when.
There's still a couple of minutes left for the donation cutoff.
We'll go until Azrael breaks the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
The first frame that the crack appears in the barrier, to be precise.
Sure.
Yes, exactly. So it is coming down to the wire, people. There is only a couple of minutes left. Don't try and wait for a snipe, just get the donations in.
Azrael's doing this because he loves JRTA. And that is the Azrael fight. Alright, so we're coming up on it.
All right, we're ready.
Alright. Now's the time. So I guess we'll cut it off here, I guess. So which one won it?
We are going in for the hug.
Let's do it.
Hug won by a lot.
Yes. So we are at, let's get the final total. It is $75 for hug versus no hug, which was still at $19.20. So a lot of people came up and showed a lot of support for the hug. We got JWC Gator, says hug the goat, $10. We got Ando Warm Geek donated $5. Hug that goat, mister.
Yo.
We got Anonymous, $20 donation for hug. And JWC Gator again with $5. Another $5 for the hug the goat. Thank you guys so much for your donations. They're very much appreciated. And we will be seeing a hug.
Those 22 seconds were totally worth it.
Wow. I'll be honest, I wanted to hug the goat too.
Wow.
So. Oh my god. There it is. So that is essentially Undertale True Pass.
We got it.
So we just got one more trick in the run.
I'm not gonna do it.
Go on, Sheik. You got this. Oh, what?
Whatever. I could have wrong up there. It would save like maybe half a second if I did it optimally. Whoops.
Those frames are important.
But since it's a marathon, I won't do that. It would be pretty bad if we went through all that, the emotional ending, the long ending, and then just soft locked the last wrong word.
Yeah.
we would have had to fight Azrael again to finish the run.
But then you could have hugged the goat again.
True. Donation incentive to hug the goat twice.
Time is also coming up very shortly,
Yeah,
which
very
is
soon.
after Toriel's last text box is progressed.
So that's
So
coming
when
up
you
in
see
about,
her
like,
say
5 seconds.
everyone is waiting for us, that's when you time.
And time.
Good
That's it.
run.
That was Undertale's true pacifist ending.
Excellent run, guys.
What was the time? Curious.
Let me get it. 1 sec. We've got a time of 1:27:56.
Nice. 127. Sweet.
The sub 128, man.
That was very good, honestly.
Excellent run, guys. You have any closing thoughts before we move on?
I'll say this: if anybody was intrigued by that run and wants to learn the route or learn the speed strats, learn the tricks, we have a Discord full of people willing to help you, and some pretty nifty guides made by Rambu actually, and Draco Dan as well for Genocide. Goes in depth for Genocide. But yeah, basically there are a lot of resources out there for those who want to learn the game, and yeah, absolutely very, very welcoming to new runners. And I appreciate it, guys. Thank you as well, JRTA, for having me and Draco and JD on, and really means a lot to us. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much for putting on this marathon. I guess
Yes,
my
thank
only
you.
closing remarks, I will just say, people will try and convince you not to run Genocide. Don't listen to them. It's good category.
All right, thank you guys so much. That was an excellent run. You guys should be proud of it. And yeah, we'll see you around. All right, we are going
Yes,
to...
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to swap over, so just give us a second.
Okay.
It was all still pretty cohesive, man. I wouldn't worry about it as all.
Don't
that
worry,
was weird.
You've got AGDQ to look forward to anyway.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys.
I can
We're going to
reach
move
out
into
there,
other
yeah.
people.
Yo, thank you guys again.
Absolutely. All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Since
All right.
we're off stream, I would just like to make a personal request. I would like to know when submissions are happening for the next event. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We're still on stream. Yeah, we got to cycle you guys out. All right. Thank you.
All right, live.
All right. So,
All right.
All right, Cass. I'm going to bring them in. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, everybody. We are going to bring in our new runners. Up next, we have Dragon Quest V. So we're going to bring in Hoishin and High Spirits. So 1 second. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning.